Mike, with your winning percentage now at somewhere around 667 here at Oklahoma State and two 11-win seasons in a row and a possible 12th coming up, does that in a way help you in further contract negotiations?
Obviously not. I mean, I don't have anything to say about that. I knew that was going to come up, and there's just really not anything for me to say about that. I would prefer to keep that under wraps. I wish that we didn't have to make those situations public, but it's not going to change, and I just don't feel comfortable in talking about contract negotiations. You know, the only thing I'd say is that I've made it real clear that I want to be here a long time. And they couldn't give me enough years for me to sign on. I mean, I wouldn't look at something and say, that's too many years. And I've already made that commitment. And so I want to be here for a long time, and hopefully we can get that worked out.
Do you feel they're stalled now, these talks? Or should they, would you like to see Oklahoma State be a little bit more proactive in that regard?
I'm willing to sign up as fast as possible. And other than that, I really don't know what to say. I think it's good for the university. I think it's good for our football team. I think it's good for our coaches to continue to move forward as fast as we can.
Coach, so Sunday night when the BCS announcement was made, you mentioned you wanted to scrimmage Alabama. You seemed pretty serious about it. Just curious if that ever went anywhere. You made any contact with Coach Saban or anything like that?
You didn't just ask me that, did you? Seriously, I guess what I meant by that was I was defending our players, and I was upset and hurt for them, and that I wanted them to know that I was proud of what they've accomplished. And if somebody wanted to scrimmage, we'd show up halfway and scrimmage. And I was just having a good time with it. I'm obviously trying to sneak the extra game in there.
You say you hope to resolve your contract situation soon? If not after winning 11 and the Big 12 title and the National Coach of the Year, if not right after that, then when? Why would this drag on into the bowl prep?
I can't answer that right now, and I'm hoping, and again I'm repeating myself now. You know, I know you're not supposed to do that, to teach that in speech class, but I'm hoping that we can get it resolved really fast, and I'm just almost sure that we can, but I don't have an answer for that.
Who does? I mean, I'm not trying to be. I mean, seriously. I mean, is it in Mike Holder's hands exclusively, or is it more of a network in terms of decision making beyond just you, Coach?
I have not had contract negotiations with Oklahoma State. I've hired an agent. Everybody knows that, and he's been involved in those negotiations. And he only updates me if he thinks that I need information on what's going on, based on what he feels like is a fair contract. And if it gets too far away from one side or the other, then he'll contact me and we'll have a discussion. Other than that, I haven't had any talks with Oklahoma State officials regarding the contract.
Where it stands now, are you optimistic, pessimistic?
Optimistic. I mean, I'm certainly not going to say pessimistic. I mean, it could cost me money right there, you know. And again, I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm hoping that we can get something worked out really soon. I believe a contract is an agreement between two parties, to where when both of them walk out of the room, they feel like it's fair. And so I'm hoping that we can do something really soon.
Do they understand that it could affect recruiting? I mean, Coach Holder was a coach. He must have recruited. It's not like recruiting in football, though. They understand that.
I would say, with a coach's background, yes, and I hope so.
Have you had any recruits say to you, what's going on at home visits? Or
Not directly to details of a contract.
You find it interesting that, your situation in the postgame 4 years ago, you had a lot of media guys on you pretty hard for a while. And now those same people voted you the National Coach of the Year 4 years later. Have you thought about that in terms of that, how you've come full circle?
Not really. There's been a number of articles that you guys read. I know you guys keep up with everything, but things that are positive or well written, even if there's some controversial statements in an article that's been published online or in the newspaper about our coaching staff or me, comes across my desk, so we can discuss whether it should be used in recruiting. And so there's been a number of articles that have come out starting about 4 weeks ago. There was a couple of them that were related to that topic. And I hadn't thought about it, Bill, until I read it. And there was an article that I say he's a young man, he looked pretty young to me in the picture, had written, and I don't even know where he was from. But it was very well written because it had some critical statements in there, and then it had some information that if this happens and this happens, then really this is where Coach Gundy's at. And I thought it was very well written, even though it wasn't all favorable towards me. He had made some very good points. So I hadn't really thought about that until I had read that article.
What's the biggest challenge in a bowl game with the time off and so forth, especially when you stretch it out to like a BCS game, to keep continuity, to keep the offense rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, you beat Arizona, but the offense was a little off that night. Defense and special teams did a little bit more. How do you keep the offense in continuity? And is Todd maybe a little bit better at that than maybe Daniel?
Well, I think if you have a mature team, it gives you a better chance. And Brandon Weeden is a much different quarterback today than he was before we played Arizona in the bowl game. So I think he understands it. The focus of our team is very good. And I had mentioned to some of our administrative staff that I was visiting with yesterday, standing on the sideline during practice, that we've practiced pretty hard the last few days, and we've run our players and done some things that we feel like are important to give us the best chance to win the game, and not one of them have complained. So their attitude is very good, and you don't always get that from players during bowl season, because you can have some veteran players that don't really want to practice very hard during bowl season, but the reason that their attitude's good is because they won. Because they just won a Big 12 championship. We can tell them to do whatever they want, and they're going to do it with a great attitude. So that helps with the continuity more than anything.
As much grief as your defense has gotten, are you a bit surprised that Markel is on every All-American team?
No. Markel's been a good player for us for a number of years. I do think people have a little more respect for our defense now than maybe what they did 6 weeks ago. And they've played well at times, and obviously they played well against Oklahoma. So he deserves to be on him for what he's done here for us, and again, it's a reflection of our team.
Does Stanford's running game kind of go under the radar when everybody thinks Stanford? They think Andrew Luck, but they've got a couple of talented guys back there.
They run the ball very well, and when you have a player like Luck on your team, then most of the notoriety is going to go to him. I mean, he's going to be the first player picked in the draft, from what I understand. And so attention can be taken away from other good players. And, for example, like Josh Cooper. Nobody really hears much about Josh Cooper unless you're here watching our games. And I think he's 2 years in a row. He's had 130 catches combined or something.
Number 5 all time here.
Right, he's number 5 all time. You don't hear about him. Well, that's kind of going on out there with their other players on their team. Because you have marquee guys, you don't hear much about the other players.
Mike, obviously these guys would be top NFL prospects without each other, but how does Brandon Weeden complement Blackman as far as an NFL prospect is concerned, and vice versa? How does Blackman make Weeden a better NFL prospect?
Well, both of them have the ability to play at that level, and obviously, I mean, when Weeden throws the ball, he's special. There's not many guys walking the face of the earth that can rotate a ball, spin a ball like he can, and have the velocity that he does. And you have the same thing with Blackman. I mean, when he catches the ball and makes a play and gets open and does all the things that he's done here for 2.5 years, he's just different. He's special. And so you wouldn't realize or wouldn't know how special Blackman was if we couldn't get it to him very much. And if we didn't have guys that had ability to make plays like Coop and Tracy and Blackman and Isaiah and Hubert and and number 5, Josh, those other guys, Whedon wouldn't look as good. And so I think them working together help both of them not only get a lot of recognition and help us win games, but also will help those guys when it comes draft time.
Did you know Brandon, when he first got here, did you think, yeah, this guy's going to win 22 games over 2 years for us?
Some of what he could do was hidden because he was in an offense that didn't really make him look good. We were in a read zone system with Zach and more run the ball, play pass, and that's not his forte. And so we knew he had ability, we knew he could throw it, but obviously we weren't aware of what he's given us today.